I did an amazing interview with Kim Iverson. And Kim Iverson doesn't agree with me on everything, but she had me on her show to talk about China, even though she's anti-communist, even though she has perspectives about China and COVID that I don't agree with. She had me on her show for 23 minutes. I talked about that in the opening of the show for a really long time, Jay, for a really long time. And I talked about the implications for Yemen and all of that. I'll put it on the list, but I talked about that for a really long time. But but it was a great conversation. It was really, really great. And it also did very, very well. I mean, it exploded on social media. I mean, it's got like, it's got like almost 30,000 views, and the fact that she had me on her show to talk the way I did, even though her perspective is different and she gave her perspective, the fact that she gave me a platform to do that is amazing. And she now has posted just today, she posted it on her YouTube channel. Originally, it was just on Rumble, but now it's on her YouTube channel. She has posted it. So I really, I really appreciate people praising me in the comments, but all the people dumping all over her in the comments. Can you keep this in perspective? Like, because again, it's kind of like with Tulsi Gabbard, right? Did Kim Iverson say some things? Exactly, Mariah. Did she say some things in the interview that I disagree with, but that are her perspective about China that are not mine? Absolutely. But she let me on her show to give that perspective. That's amazing. She has a huge audience, and she let her audience be exposed to my anti-imperialist views. Furthermore, Kim Iverson brought Chairman O'Malley of the Uhuru movement, brought him on the show. That's amazing as well. So I look at the comments and I read the comments on that video that I posted. And all the comments are like Kim this and Kim that, and she's not a real Asian, and she's this. Guys, let's have some perspective here. Somebody with a huge platform, let me get on there and present the anti-imperialist view of China. That's huge. That's huge. That's a really good thing. So, it's kind of like with Tulsi Gabbard. When somebody who's not totally where we're at gives us an opening, we should run with it. And I saw a lot of the angry comments in there, and a lot of very personal negative things said to Kim. And I'm just like, guys, this is somebody who doesn't have our perspective, is not a communist by any means, not a Marxist Leninist, very much a Republican. I think she's a conservative, but she's anti-war and she's in favor of civil liberties. And so she is suspicious of the idea that China is a threat. And so she gave me an opportunity to give the other side of the story. That's a great thing. We should be applauding her for doing such a thing. Right. And I would really urge people to, I appreciate you praising me in the comments. That's really great. But the next time I go on a show, don't rip to shreds the person who just gave me a platform, even if they don't agree with me. Now, she'd been mean to me in the interview. Okay, fine. That I might understand. If she'd said, well, you're wrong, you lying communist. She didn't do that. She gave her perspective. She let me give mine. That was huge. And it was really good for China. And it was really good for the Center for Political Innovation. If you go to the website or you go to her YouTube channel, she linked the Center for Political Innovation website in the description of the video. And I didn't even give it to her. She didn't ask me. She said, oh, she did enough research on me that she found the CPI website. If you go to Kim Iverson's channel, latest video is about China. In the description, it says to learn more about Caleb's views, and it has a website to cpiusa.org. It has a link. That's awesome. That's tremendous. That's amazing. That's great. That's tremendous. That's a really, really, really good thing. That's a great thing. That's a really, really good thing. So, when people, who are of a variety of different views open their door to us, appreciate it. Don't burn a bridge. Don't burn a bridge, right? I think it's really great. I hope Kim has me on again another time. She may not. We'll see. But it was really great what Kim did. So be happy about it. Be happy that we had a great breakthrough and that Kim was open-minded enough to hear my perspective. And she admitted, listen to the part of the interview where she's talking about Vietnam, how her family's from Vietnam, but she actually admits that economically their life got much better because of communism. That at first, when the communists came to power, her family wanted to flee, but then later in the interview, she says, but their life has gotten so much better because of the communists in Vietnam, they don't want to flee. Now, she has issues with the civil liberties, and that's a fair concern, but she admitted that her family's life and economic circumstances have vastly improved in Vietnam because of communism. For somebody of her perspective, from a right-wing, anti-communist Vietnamese exile family, for her to say that, that's huge. Miami Cubans will never say anything good about communism. People who fled from Vietnam or Laos, they will often, it is like pulling teeth for them to say anything good about communism. But for her to actually say what she said in the interview, which was she didn't agree with communism and she talked about civil liberties, but then to go as far as she did to actually admit that her family's life is better off, they don't want to move to the United States, and that the communists have improved life in Vietnam, that's huge. That's huge. So be happy, right? We have to be happy. We can't, that's part of the cancel culture attitude. Kim Iverson is also a friend of ours. Tara Reid and Johnny Fiorella's brother, Convo Couch, says Ellie Morano, and you're exactly right. Tara Reid is awesome, and I'm really happy that conversation happened. I'm really, really happy. Kim is not a conservative, but a lockdown left calls her that because she doesn't toe the liberal narrative. Yeah, I'll write that down. Right. So I want people to, it's the same kind of thing with Tulsi Gabbard. It's like somebody in the establishment comes along and opens a door for us. She's had Lori on before. That's awesome. Lori's been on that show before. That is awesome. That's way better. She's, it's way better. So I would urge people to put things in perspective. There are some people, and I mean, I'll just say it. There are some people that are left book losers, right? That are left book losers. All they ever want to be is somebody complaining on the internet, right? I think you all know who I'm talking about. I mean, or maybe there's just so many of them you don't. There's certain people, they have no problem completely wrecking an organization, completely burning bridges with people. All they want to do is just be somebody complaining on the internet. They want to be the internet Zoomer version of Old Man Yells at Cloud. You ever see that cartoon, Old Man Yells at Cloud? That's, there's a lot of people who used to be like parts of our community, and that's what they have turned into. They have turned into Old Man Yells at Cloud, right? That's basically what Dust James' channel is. It's Old Man Yells at Cloud. That's all he's ever going to be. He's burned bridges with everyone he's ever worked with. He's Old Man Yells at Cloud, and he's younger than I am, right? And there's certain other people I could name. I'm not even going to name them because I don't want to give them any play. That's all they are. They're just, and if that's all you ever want to be, and you never really want to accomplish anything in life, that's all you want to be is Old Man Yells at Cloud. Let me pull up the Simpsons cartoon. There's a Simpsons cartoon, Old Man Yells at Cloud. Like, if that's all you ever want to be, you want to be a left book loser, you want to be the millennial version of Old Man Yells at Cloud, I mean, by all means, yes. If Kim doesn't agree with you on every issue, you can burn a bridge with her and call her. If Tulsi Gabbard is part of the U.S. military and supports Israel, you can cuss her out upwards, backwards, and forward. But it's like in the real world, if you want to actually accomplish something, you have to have relationships, right? This is what most internet communists have been reduced to. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that, right? And that's what a lot of these people are. They just sit there and they just, oh, this person disagreed with me. This person said something wrong. This person disappointed me. This person made a bad decision. I mean, it's just, and that's all they are. You don't want to be that. Do you want to be that? I don't want you to be that. So please, if Kim Iverson does something good, praise her for it. I am, and I said this in my speech. I actually said this in my speech on February 19th, and I am not ashamed of this. I wanted to like AOC. Did you know this? I tried to like AOC. Now, it was impossible. She just made it abundantly clear she was not anti-imperialist. She was in the way she went after Jimmy Dore, and I can't stand AOC. I have no desire to defend her. But when she first came into office, when she was first running, I met her before she was even called to AOC, before she even won the nomination, when she was just this late 20s Democrat running for Congress. I met AOC. We had a conversation. At a Bernie Sanders meetup, and I got some of her literature. I brought it home to my wife. I said, this woman, she might be in Congress pretty soon. And my wife's like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm like, I think she's got a chance. I wanted to like AOC. Now AOC sucks, and you can't like AOC, but I tried. And that should be our attitude. If somebody comes along who seems like they might be good, if a Tulsi Gabbard or or a Kim Iverson, or she's not in Congress, but if somebody comes along who looks like they might do something good, don't throw them completely under the bus. And that applies to the right wing too, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene. I kind of like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hate to admit that. It's hard to admit that, but she gave like a workers' world speech on the floor of Congress about money for jobs and not for war. There's not food for our mothers, and they've got money for weapons to blow up in Ukraine. That's like, money for jobs, not for war. That's practically every workers' world party, Ramsey Clark International Action Center protest I ever went to. Money for jobs and not for war. Money for schools and not for war. And she was on the floor of Congress saying, money for baby formula, not for war. Good. Great. I like it. Don't like some of the other things she says about the border and other things, but it's like, get it. If something good happens, you gotta get the most out of it, right? And when people come along and they don't want, it's just like, Tulsi Gabbard just gives this amazing speech on Tucker Carlson about how they blew up the Nord Stream 2 and how our leaders are liars. And you're like, yeah, but she supports Israel, so fuck her. It's like, okay, she's bad on Israel, but she's really good, and she was good on Syria before that. And it's like, there's this childish attitude that people have where it's like they won't allow anything good to happen. And if you have that attitude, if you start acting like old man yells at cloud, you're letting the enemy win, because that's exactly what Netflix wants. That's exactly what all this pessimism is about. They want you to not believe you can actually do anything. It's a mindset. It's a cynical, hopeless, pessimistic mindset that they're selling. And so even though you might call yourself a communist, and even though you might, if you buy into that mindset where every good thing that happens just has to be, and it's phony, if that's your attitude about the world, you're still helping the system, because that is the attitude the system is promoting. Yes, back in the 1960s, back in the 1950s, their attitude was be optimistic, love America. That is not their attitude. Now they are all about degrowth and pessimism and impoverishment. That's what they're all about. That's what they're all about now, right? That's what they're all about now. So if we just have the attitude that, no, everyone's a fraud, everyone's a phony, every political group is a cult, everything's a grift. I mean, if you have that attitude, that's all you're ever going to be. And that's what they want you to be. That's what they want you to be. They want you to be old man yells at cloud. You have it in you, I believe, that you have it in you to be more. You have it in you to be more than old man yells at cloud. I mean, you do. And thanks, Lori. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't endorse candidates here, and we're trying to get nonprofit status for CPI and such. But I appreciate it. It is noted. But you want to be more than this. You really want to be more than this, right? You don't want to be old man yells at cloud. So I'm urging you to be happy about things that happen. When there's an opening in the system, try to utilize it. If we're going to do anything, we have to build something. And that means real alliances.